Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and for this video I'm going to be talking about the new Blu-ray box set from Arrow, Enter the Video Store, The Empire of Screams, which is one of the best box sets I've ever seen. It's absolutely awesome and it's been an absolute joy working my way through these movies. I won't do a full-on unboxing because plenty of people have done a great job on YouTube showing this off. In fact, I'll link the Wacky World Lounge in this video because he did a good job showing it off and you can see all the contents in more detail. But I just thought I'd let you know about the movies and what I thought about them. And then I got a couple of things to say about the box set at the end. But yeah, this is 5 movies from Empire Pictures that came out straight to VHS and so would have been prominent in the video store, and they're all presented here on Blu-ray in, like what I say, it's one of the greatest releases that I've seen. Arrow have been a bit hit and miss the past couple of years, but this is just unbelievably awesome. So yeah, let's get into this one. I'll show you the box in a little bit more detail. Now my only small gripe with this is I wish it had a sort of prominent title on it. So I wish it said like Enter the Video Store or Empire of Screams on the front, just so you knew what you were looking at. But that's more my OCD displaying sort of thing coming through there. But it's great looking artwork, made to look like an old video store, and you've got the characters around it, the characters from the movies. So there's more characters there and there, and then you've got information on the film there, one of the monsters from Arena on the side, and then this is a slip cover that slides off. Those are the movies that are in it, and then again you've got more of the same, just the same artwork with the characters around the side. This lifts off, and then you've got the movies and the book inside. But like I say, check out Wacky World Lounge if you want to see the contents in more detail. So first up in the set is Dungeon Master, which is one I've wanted to see for a long time. So I was very excited that this one was in the set. That's the original artwork there. I've kept Arrow's artwork on this one because I really like that. It's a very cool cover. And it's actually a cover that is kind of over the top, sort of hand-drawn cover. But this was actually pretty much delivered because all of this stuff is in the movie. So that's really cool. But yeah, Dungeon Master is this kind of nerdy computer programmer guy. And him and his girlfriend get zapped into the world of this evil sorcerer. And he has to do a series of kind of quests and challenges to ultimately save his girlfriend and outsmart the sorcerer. But he has to do a number of different things. He has to sort of fight zombies, these frozen monster creatures, this giant stone creature. There's like a car chase in the desert. It's all over the place, but in a good way. And it was directed by 6 or 7 different people. They each directed one of the challenges in the movie. So it does feel vastly different as you work through the film. But it does work. I enjoyed it for that, and it felt very creative as it went along. But there's lots of horror elements. There's fantasy, science fiction, sword and sorcery, bit of Conan in there, bit of Highlander, bit of Mad Max. Really, really fun stuff. There was not a dull moment in this one, and the creature effects in it look really cool. Not a great movie. But to be honest, more movies should look at things like Dungeon Master and note it for just how imaginative it is and how they throw so much into the pot to keep it creative and keep it entertaining. It's has a lot of heart. So yeah, like I say, wanted to see this one for a long time, and it did not disappoint. I really enjoyed Dungeon Master. Next up is Dolls, which I've not watched this one in the set. I've seen it a couple of times a few years ago, and it's a really cool killer doll movie. It's a bunch of people, they end up getting stranded or something, and they find themselves in this big gothic house where this sort of kooky old couple live, and they have a big collection of creepy dolls which come to life and start killing the visitors off one by one. Really good stuff. The dolls in it are all sort of like individually animated and articulated, and they look really cool. I remember seeing a documentary with the director Stuart Gordon just saying how they were painstakingly animated, but they're really good effect, and they look creepy, and they do a lot of cool stuff in the movie. And this one, it's been noted by other people, but the sort of the dark gothic house kind of gives the film like a dark fairy tale feel, which I thought worked really well. And you don't always get that with sort of killer doll movies. You don't get the sort of the fantasy aspect, but that really comes through on this one, and works well with the overall feel of the film. So yeah, this is a great example of a killer doll or sort of like little kind of monster creature movie. It's a really enjoyable one. Great to see this one in the set as well. Next up is Cellar Dweller, which is a monster movie that I've wanted to see for years. It just looks like a movie that was right up my street, so I was really excited to watch this one. That's the new Arrow artwork. I've gone with the original artwork, which is just absolutely awesome. But Cellar Dweller is another really cool one. At the start, we see Jeffrey Combs, and he's in this house, and he accidentally summons the Cellar Dweller monster, and he ends up setting fire to the place to try and banish the creature, which he does, but he ends up killing himself in the fire at the same time. It then skips to 30 years ahead, and in the same house, there's a bunch of sort of like aspiring artists and performers, and they're all in there sort of studying. And one of the girls, she's a comic book artist, and she accidentally summons the Cellar Dweller by drawing him in a comic book. So really creative link there to sort of explain how the creature comes into it. I like that, and I like how it was linked to the comic books. That felt a little bit different. The Cellar Dweller itself looks awesome. It's a really cool looking monster. It gets a fair bit of screen time, and there's a couple of cool deaths in it and a bit of blood as well. This guy gets his head swiped off by the monster. But again, another really fun 80s monster movie here. This is another one that, again, like Dungeon Master, wants to see it for a long time, and it didn't disappoint, which is great. Next up is Arena, which is absolutely awesome. That's the Arrow artwork. Again, I've gone with the original artwork because look at that. And this one was so cool. This is such a kick-ass movie. This is like sci-fi, monster movie, martial arts all in one. It just throws everything at it. And it's just like wall-to-wall men in rubber monster suits everywhere. It was so cool. It's about this guy. He enters this like intergalactic fighting tournament, and he's the first human to do so in years. And he actually starts to get traction within the tournament, and just has to fight these different monsters. But it's overseen by this sort of space villain that doesn't want him to progress, so he has to deal with that as well. And yeah, this one is absolutely awesome. Imagine Bloodsport, which is my favourite Van Damme film. Imagine Bloodsport that was held in the Mos Eisley Cantina in Star Wars, and this is what you get. It's like Star Wars on steroids. But like Dungeon Master, they just throw so much into this. Like I say, sci-fi, monsters, martial arts. There's so much here to enjoy, and it was so cool. And again, I'm going to say it again, another one I've wanted to see for a long time that didn't disappoint. So great to see this one in the set. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. Just rubber monsters everywhere. It was awesome. And finally we have Robot Jocks, which is the only one in this set that I haven't watched. And I must admit, I didn't know anything about this movie other than just reading about it here in this set. But that's the Arrow artwork, gone with the original artwork again, because that's awesome. But this looks cool. It kind of looks like a sort of 80s direct-to-video adaptation of Transformers, which sounds cool with me. I'm sure I won't have a problem with it. But this one I'm waiting for a friend. He really wants to watch this one, so I'm waiting to watch this with him. But I'm looking forward to doing so. So if you've seen this one, let me know what you think. So there we go, guys. That's all the movies that are in this set. Like I say, it's one of the best sets I've ever seen, and I had so much fun working my way through these movies. Now, I think this might be out of print already, so I don't want to flog this to people if you're not going to be able to get it. But if you can get your hands on this, this gets the top Horror Hands recommendation. If you're into 1980s full stop, I think you'll like this. But particularly if you're into 1980s horror, sci-fi, or creature features, you've got to get on this. It's so good. And yeah, these movies, they just hark back to a time that I really miss, and they're a type of movie that I miss, where movies, they weren't all striving to be the new fancy Hollywood blockbuster. You know, they knew the limitations, and they kind of just existed in this rather charming 80s world, but just did a great job entertaining us at the same time. I mean, I'd rather watch something like Cellar Dweller or Dungeon Master over the latest Marvel film, because I know I'll just have more fun with these movies. They will entertain me more, and in a strange way, they comfort me in a way that modern cinema is unable to do. So great to have all these together in one set. So thank you very much, Arrow. We'll have more of this. So let me know what you think, guys. Did you manage to get this set as well? And what did you think of the movies? I'd really love to know. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.